Cast Highlight is an application portfolio analysis platform running in SaaS that provides software intelligence to accelerate and secure your digital journey. One common use case is accelerating cloud migration. From the Cast Highlight homepage here, you can see our four main software intelligence metrics. Resiliency is a measurement of how reliable or robust an application is based on software engineering industry best practices. Agility is a measurement of how easy it is to maintain or upgrade an application. Elegance is a pure complexity metric. These first three metrics we collectively call our health metrics, and we'll see how they come into play during a cloud migration scenario. The example we're going to walk through today is based on a scenario where we have onboarded a portfolio of 186 applications. And we're going to focus in on this fourth metric here called Cloud Readiness. From the Cloud Ready Decision Matrix dashboard here, we can start to segment and prioritize applications in our portfolio, developing a roadmap for cloud migration. On this dashboard, we've taken two metrics: business impact on the vertical axis on a scale of 0 to 100, which primarily comes from our surveys, and cloud readiness on the horizontal axis, also on a scale of 0 to 100, that comes from a combination of survey inputs and source code analysis data. Every icon on this dashboard represents an application in the portfolio. We have some smart segments here that are predefined to help you start doing some segmentation. For example, you might want to start by identifying some quick wins. These are applications on the lower right that are lower on the business impact scale, but have higher cloud readiness. So maybe you want to gain some confidence and credibility by picking off a few of these applications and migrating them first, because they don't need as much work and they are not going to have a material impact on the business if there are any issues during migration. Core Cloud is a segment of applications in the upper right that have high business impact and are also highly cloud ready, meaning they're not going to need as much work to migrate them to Platform as a Service. So these are probably good candidates for a refactor and a migration to Platform as a Service. Long-term bets are applications that are in the upper left, which have a high business impact, but they're lower on the cloud readiness. In fact, these might be good candidates for a lift and shift or rehost to infrastructure as a service, because they're still strategic to the company, but they're going to need a lot more work to modernize, so maybe we push that off further down the line. And finally, pursue later are applications in the lower left that are less strategic to the business and they have low cloud readiness. In fact, these might be good candidates for a replacement or retirement with a SaaS alternative. These sizes of the bubbles represent currently the number of roadblocks to cloud migration that we found in the source code. But these could easily be changed to do further analysis using other metrics such as lines of code or number of FTEs supporting the applications. Another important set of measures to look at when segmenting a portfolio for migration to the cloud is health factors. In this dashboard, we've now taken the Cloud Ready Index and moved it to the vertical axis, and we've placed one of our health measures, in this case software resiliency, on the horizontal axis. As a reminder, resiliency is a measurement of how reliable or robust an application is. Another way to think about it is, think of it as an early warning system on how likely an application is to be prone to production issues. Green means very good, orange in the middle, red not so good. Here's a great example of why looking at health is also critical when creating a roadmap to the cloud. In this case, I'm hovering over an app here, and we can see the ID card popping up in the upper right, for an application called Closure. If we were to look at Cloud Ready alone, we would see that it has a decent score, it's over 60, and it's got a relatively low number of roadblocks, only 74. But when we look more closely at the health of this application, we see that it's got poor resiliency, and even worse, agility and elegance, meaning that this is an application that's probably prone to production outages. It is not easy to maintain and upgrade it, and it's written in a very complex manner. This is an unhealthy application, and an unhealthy application on-prem is going to be an unhealthy application in the cloud. So we also need to take health into account when we're segmenting and prioritizing our applications to create that roadmap to the cloud. Finally, the Cloud Requirements tab is a summary of all of the different boosters or positive things we're finding in the code, and blockers or hurdles we're finding in the code that are going to prevent or make a migration harder. This is a portfolio level roll-up, but sometimes it's easier to drill down to one specific application. We have now left the portfolio level view and are drilling into one specific application to do deeper analysis. On the Cloud Ready tab, we see that the Cloud Ready score of 64.6 is actually a weighted average between the input from the survey and the Cloud Ready code scan. Down below here, we see all of the survey questions and the answers driving the survey score. And if we click on the code scan tab, we'll see the list of all the blockers or roadblocks to migration and boosters or good practices we're finding in the code that will help make this application more cloud ready. Highlight tracks all of this information by technology. In this case, we can start by looking at the Java code. We'll see that the number of roadblocks has actually been reducing over time in this case. And if we want to drill a little further into what those actually are, we could look at this final column here called roadblocks and sort it by that column. Down below here, we see there are 324 occurrences of this roadblock. If I click on that, I'll see the list of all the files where this roadblock is occurring. And over here, I see the specific roadblock itself, performing file manipulation. If I want to learn a little bit more about this roadblock, I can simply click on this question mark. And that brings us to the Highlight Knowledge Base, which provides more background information, methodology. It identifies the criticality of this roadblock, and the migration impact, whether that impact is the code, the framework, the architecture, or a combination of the three. And finally, we see the specific pattern syntax for this specific cloud migration roadblock, along with any supporting documentation. Back in the Highlight portal, all of the information reviewing can be exported to Excel for easier consumption by various teams. So now you've seen how Cast Highlight can help you rapidly assess large portfolios of applications and develop a roadmap for cloud migration. Additionally, you can drill into specific applications and identify roadblocks within the source code that need to be remediated so specific applications can be migrated more quickly. Thank you for watching this demonstration.